Talentless Nana is f***ing awesome. Yes, that was a censor bleep, because apparently YouTube isn't a fan of me dropping the fuck word this early on in the video. Wait, shit. No, fuck, shit, god damn it. Okay, well, this is getting demonetized. Well, I guess this means I can blow my load of clips.
I fucked up.
Fuck you! Are you fucking kidding me? Get fucked. Fuck!
My friend plays the recorder better. Hey, fuck your friend.
But yes, let me reiterate that there will in fact be S to the P to the Oilers ahead. If you care about the show's twists and turns being spoiled, you may want to go binge the show and then come back.
I'm an annoying side character.
Damn, that's too bad. I'm a generic shonen protagonist.
JK, bitch, I'm the real protag.
Oh.
Also, you're dead.
Now this twist was genius, and I feel many have misrepresented what exactly makes it so damn good. Cause yeah, on the surface level, you can essentially sum it up as annoying girl claims to have powers, ends up being evil and not having powers, kills some guy.
Saw it coming, wow, such a bad twist.
But like, that's not really the twist. Like, the name of the show is literally Talentless Nana. I don't think that, wait, his name is Loose Boy? I don't think that, Loose Boy was really expecting people to be shocked by the reveal that she doesn't have powers and, you know, by extension is evil. Like, it's kind of just a normal reaction to see Nana claiming she has powers, referring back to the title and then thinking, oh, well, if she's lying about having powers, she's probably evil. So the fucking Redditor smooth brains who are trying to flex that they saw that part of the twist coming are really making themselves look dumber, if anything. So why does the twist work? And if the twist wasn't specifically built around her powers and level of morality, what was it built around? Well, this requires a retrospective on what exactly the first episode accomplishes prior to this reveal. Right off the bat, this jumps straight into the setting we've seen 50 kajillion times.
Superpowered high school! Wow, it's like My Hero Academia, but without a budget. Woo-hoo.
The amount of shows I've seen exactly like this is far too many. We immediately get that all too familiar dynamic when Nanao, the main character, is treated poorly by his peers and doesn't really stand up for himself. We're then introduced to Nana, who is instantly set up as a side character and love interest for Nanao. Now, Nanao is very secretive about his powers, and as the episode progresses, we begin to get more of an understanding of who Nanao is as a character. And I think this is the kicker. Yes, he's a generic fucking protagonist within this specific subgenre, but that's not to say he's poorly written. He actually breaks his nice guy facade and outright yells at Nana. And the dynamic he has with his father, where he's stuck in between a feeling of fear and idolization towards him, that shit is genuinely pretty interesting. It's not explored much, so obviously there isn't a whole lot of substance that we can actually see, but from the perspective of this being a first episode, this seems like it could very easily be set up for a lot more growth down the road. The way Nana functions in the episode and the actions that she takes also feel like very strong setup for the dynamic that she maintains with Nanao. This is all very generic because, of course, we've seen it many, many times, but more than anything else, it feels real. This feels like it could be a legitimate first episode to a generic superhero high schooler anime series. Nanao feels like a legitimate protagonist. There's also a consistent repetition of the fact that there are enemies of humanity lurking within their group, which obviously factors into us expecting some sort of twist regarding Nana. But even assuming that there will be a twist ahead of time, the show does an excellent job with building up this false world to make this twist even more effective when, yes, Nana is revealed to be not so friendly and, you know, straight up fucking kills him. And as we move into the second episode, the reality sets in that Nana is the real protagonist. Nanao was just some random guy the whole time, despite being set up as a legitimate feeling main character. And not just that, but Nana is not an enemy of humanity as we would have initially expected in the moment of the twist. The real enemies of humanity are actually everyone else. Supposedly, superhumans are generally pretty fucking awful in this world, and this island is basically just a whole secret scheme to execute them, which is Nana's mission here. So this is really a double twist, because while we're led to believe that Nana is an enemy of humanity while expecting the twist, the reveal that in reality she's the only actual human on the island throws our expectations for the twist out of the water. But regardless of whether or not that twist works for you, that's just the first episode, and boy howdy, are the other 12 episodes pretty damn good. Well, mostly. For roughly the first half of the season, we basically get exactly what you might expect from a series like this. Each episode ups the stakes with a more difficult opponent that Nana has to take down, and with the other new student, Kyoya, on her tail, Nana really has very little room for slip-ups and has to have backup plans in place for any potential mistakes that she may make. And it is quite entertaining to see her fucking murder each of these generic character archetypes that we know all too well, but truthfully speaking, it's not exactly rich with substance during these episodes. Kyoya really does function as quite the foil to Nana, and whether it be in tension or in comedy, they play off of each other extremely well. Their dynamic is one of the many reasons that the show ultimately just feels so goddamn fun. The series is designed to be binged, with almost every episode concluding with a cliffhanger leading right into the next episode, making the experience truthfully feel more fulfilling when watched all in one go rather than viewed weekly. But of course, the common critique with this base setup is, why is Kyoya the only one who's really suspicious of Nana? And on a surface, plot point level, it's a fair question. Despite Nana always seeming overwhelmingly suspicious, nobody ever really actually thinks she's evil because of the trust that she had previously built up. This is specifically evident with Michiru, who is one of the people closest to Nana, who has seen so much shit that really should clue her in, but it doesn't. This is where the thematic undertones of the show's second half come into play. Something built up a bit in the first half and immensely expanded upon in the second half is Nana's questioning of why her mission is in fact what it is. Each student in school, her phone shows a potential kill count for, in an effort to help constantly remind her why she's doing what she's doing. But the thing is, this doesn't exactly make sense. Take her first victim, Nanao, for example. His ability is literally nullifying other powers. Wouldn't that be a desirable asset? Like, what harm to humanity could it even cause? And even more confusing is Michiru. How does she even have a kill count? Her ability is literally healing people. That's it. And the closer Nana gets to Michiru, the more her faith in her mission falters, because the reality slowly sinks in that Michiru is a good person who can't realistically cause actual harm. So why does she need to be executed? These students all really deserve to die. We absolutely grow to learn of many very bad apples within this school and the history of all-out superpowered wars starting in previous iterations of the school, but most of these kids are so innocent that they immediately dismiss any malice from Nana because of their existing impressions of her. Yes, a lot of them are on the track to chaotic and dangerous futures, but isn't that in part due to the fact that their teacher isn't actually teaching them anything, as he's basically just playing a role? These are the things that Nana begins thinking about in the back half of the season. And as all of these worries begin sprouting in her mind, she accidentally makes a grave mistake, subconsciously. She allows Michiru to grow too close to her. When Jin brings her probable family issues to the forefront of her mind, she unintentionally spills all of her genuine pain and regret to Michiru. She legitimately opens up about the loss of her parents and how she feels it ultimately was her own fault. She becomes angry at herself for it and lashes out on Michiru because of this pent-up anger, even while Michiru is trying to help alleviate any lasting sorrow Nana feels from the incident. Nana immediately begins suspecting Michiru of somehow knowing her secrets, using that as an excuse to grow distant. However, her investigations into the matter actually prove the opposite to be true. In fact, Michiru writes extensively in her journal about how much she truly cares about Nana and how much she wants to be able to make Nana feel happy. Because deep down, through all the lies and deception and all that other shit in the way, she believes that Nana is a good person at her core, even when Nana herself believes the opposite. A major reason that Nana was able to adapt to killing so easily in the first place is because she had already believed that she had essentially murdered her own parents by leaving her house vulnerable. She basically had already given up on herself and treated her own being as a commodity. This is part of the reason why she had so much trouble genuinely accepting Michiru's kindness as genuine, because she felt as though she didn't deserve it. And it's very clear how much she's affected by this uncertainty within herself. She breaks character far more often towards the end of the season because her logical side is failing her. Michiru had unintentionally been whittling down at her false persona to reveal who Nana truly was, and not just the happy, annoyingly cheerful false persona, but also that darker, uglier persona underneath that, because that dark side that we see for most of the season, that's more of a defense mechanism than anything else. It's Nana's way to deal with the guilt she feels from causing her parents' death. She felt as though she was a monster, and as such, began acting as one. Michiru continues to claim that underneath everything, Nana is a good person at heart, and this raises the question, is she? Really? After everything she's done, all the pain she's inflicted, hasn't this darker persona basically become who she is? Is there really any good left within herself? While Nana may not think so, Michiru remains steadfast in her assessment. And things begin to lean her way once Nana discovers the flip side to Michiru's healing ability. The more that she heals, the more her own lifespan shortens. And yet, even knowing this, Michiru still tries to heal anyone and everything she can. She still wants to grow up to become a nurse, not because of any intent to die, but because of how much she thinks others deserve to live. She's the living embodiment of,
with great power comes great responsibility.
She knows that she has an extremely useful ability that can help so many people, and as such, she feels as if she has no choice but to use it to its fullest, regardless of the negative consequences it has for herself, because, again, she is a good person. And this kill count is bullshit. Ultimately, Michiru faints after saving a cat's life because of her ever-shortening lifespan. And despite the opportunity to get rid of another target basically throwing itself at her, Nana actually feels genuine fear seeing Michiru like this and does everything in her power to make sure that Michiru does not die. Nana uses a bunch of illogical excuses to justify staying by her side until she awakes and wastes 2 entire days just waiting for her to wake up. Michiru does wake up and almost immediately tries to heal a tiny cut on Nana's finger. And this infuriates Nana. She screams at Michiru for not caring about her own life and not thinking about the consequences of using her healing powers. That raw emotion that you can feel coming from her in this scene is heart-pounding. You can feel this pain, accentuated by the fact that, once again, Michiru supposedly is a danger to society and is supposed to be executed by Nana, and yet here she is, risking her own life to heal a fucking paper cut. Not only is this contradiction crumbling her perception of the world to dust, but it's ripping up her heart because she genuinely views Michiru as a friend at this point, and despite her mission, she doesn't want her friend to die. This culminates in the finale, where all of these emotions are at their max level and Nana's confusion has reached a breaking point. The theme of Nana's self-hatred stemming from the death of her parents makes a return, but this time she truly has a friend to confide in, one that she doesn't have any suspicion of. And the gift Michiru gives her with this final conversation is one that is truly priceless, because what Michiru explains here is why Nana actually isn't at fault for her parents' death. She breaks down every detail and proves definitively that Nana's actions were entirely irrelevant to the unfortunate tragedy that occurred. This was the reason that Nana had abandoned any sense of morality. This is why she thought that she was a monster. This is what led her to this breaking point. This is what everything she's done has stemmed from, and it wasn't remotely true. The kindness of a friend brought to light the truth of the situation and the truth that Nana really wasn't a monster after this situation. That was an incorrect assumption on her own part, and all that loathing and self-hatred was entirely baseless. And that leaves the final question hanging. Is she still a good person? Or is Michiru saying something that she just wants to see? Another murderer unrelated to Nana has been running loose on the island for several episodes, and their mark is confirmed by Jin to be Michiru. As she requests help from Kyoya, who she had previously been working against, she begins running towards the unfolding situation in an attempt to save Michiru. It's here that Nana gets a call from her mentor, who reinforces her initial beliefs in the evil lurking within each of the students here. They are, once again, enemies of humanity. This is especially hitting home in this moment because the one trying to kill Michiru is literally another student. Clearly, many of these kids really are fucking despicable. So here we are at the ultimate crossroads of these two paths that she can choose to take. The two personas that she can choose from. The moment where she decides who she is. The moment where she really has to take a look at herself and figure out what the fuck she's doing.
人類の敵が勝手に人類の敵と殺し合う。好都合じゃないか。犯人はもっと泳がすべきだ。みちるがどうなろうと。
And then,
美しいですね。まあ、死んでください。
早く逃げて。でも早くしろこのバカ犬。何がお友達だ。私はずっとお前を見下してた。ずっと便利な犬だと思ってた。今までだって何度も利用していたんだぞ。犠牲者は大嫌いだ。
in this moment here, she literally whips out her darkest, ugliest possible comments to the closest person to her. And it hurts. But ironically, by using these awful, horrible lines towards Michiru, she's actually making her most morally good decision of the whole series. It's all in an effort to get Michiru away so that Nana can sacrifice herself, so that Michiru can live on. As she's dying, she reflects on everything, on her mistakes. Maybe she deserves this. No, she definitely deserves this. This is the only way things could end, but at the very least, she finally made a friend. A true friend. Until she gets an absolute fucking emotional gut punch when Michiru revives her, only to immediately die from overuse of her powers.
ナナさん
And holy shit, man, this montage fucking killed me. Like, the amount of tears I shed are fucking insane. And the show's final few seconds conclude on a shot of Nana crying over Michiru's lifeless body. The body of someone who's willing to die for her. The body of her one and only friend. Now, this obviously leaves Nana emotionally torn apart going forward. Will the anime get another season? Who really knows, ultimately, but at the very least, the manga is continuing, and I'm glad that I'm now able to continue experiencing Nana's personal journey in at least some form of media. I'm not here today to tell you that Talentless Nana is a masterpiece. I'm not telling you that it's the greatest thing ever written, that it's flawless, or that it's even necessarily the best of its genre. What I'm trying to express to you today is how much this series was able to emotionally impact me, because at the end of the day, that's what matters when it comes to art. Art is supposed to make you feel something. Nitpicking plot points or character decisions is ultimately arbitrary because art doesn't exist to be a perfectly logical, believable story. Those elements can absolutely aid certain stories depending on what story is being told, but when a show takes place in a universe with fucking superheroes and weird, nonsensical abilities, I don't think logic should be the main concern. When it comes to things like this, I look for shows that will make me feel. And Talentless Nana does a damn swell job at that. I can't guarantee you'll like it or that the show will be for you or anything like that, but at the very least I recommend you give it a chance because, in my honest opinion, Talentless Nana is an underrated gem.